Chairperson, Thobela, Deputy Minister. I'm going to piggyback also on this issue of not having designated powers or responsibility, and it's almost 1 year later. But we're going to take the angle that your office, both the Deputy Minister's offices, have continued being funded fully over this period, while the Minister has not allocated you any designated powers. So it's actually funded for designated powers, but you don't have it. And I want to just put on record that between 23 and 2020, the 2023-2024 financial year and the 2024-25 financial year, the budget allocation for the ministry increased from 49.4 million to 63.3 million. So the projected growth here for this financial year is 119 million. So this is reflecting a 23.6% growth compared to the other sub-programs within the administration. And it's a significant increase, Deputy Minister, and you know that because I raised this at the previous, when we had the previous annual report, because the average increase on other sub-programs for the administration budget is 4.6%. So, Minister, just speak to Deputy Minister, oh, maybe I'm projecting, calling you Minister already. Just speak to us about what tangible value, I know you've been saying that you've been, undertaking duties around there. But in terms of designated powers and responsibilities we are bringing in terms of policing, oversight, and service delivery, if you actually don't have the designated power or responsibilities, it's like you're just there. Even when you come to the both the deputy ministers, which you regularly attend, is the portfolio committee meetings, and it's really just a wrap up, and you give some political overview, and then it's done for the day. So how does that match the budget that we are spending in the office?
Thank you, Chair, through you. Thanks, Honourable Member. We don't appear to committees just for the sake of appearing. We are appearing as part of our accountability. And as members of Parliament, we account to you. And the Constitution says that deputy ministers are accountable to Parliament, and and we do that through parliamentary committees that you preside over, including this ad hoc committee that we are appearing before today. We have made meaningful contributions, some of whom I have outlined earlier on, Honourable Member, when I was responding to some of the questions that were raised. And one key example is the organizational structure that we have adopted now, which is a product of our contribution to working together with the personnel in the office and other programs that I spoke to. I spoke to Operation Chanela 2, which is an escalation of what we had before, and it is a product of our contribution to the discussions going on in SAPS. And these are just but a few that I can mention.
So, Minister, I'm saying it again.
No
Deputy
problem.
Minister, you're saying the same thing, and you're not answering the question. Your budget allocation is for a Deputy Minister that has designated responsibilities. When you come and account here, you're not accounting as a Deputy Minister, you're just representing the Minister because you don't have a designated, both deputy ministers don't have that. So essentially we are saying that also the Minister, Mchunu, has even failed. It's wasteful expenditure because he's taken over a year just to give responsibilities. And I don't buy that story that he needed an entire year to work out what's happening in the police. That's why we had handover. So he could have even continued on what the previous ministry had done. And as he was moving along, where he saw the gap, he could have changed it. I am so sure, and you'll answer me, Deputy Minister, whether once he assigns a role, it cannot be changed after. Maybe you should answer that.
No.
Because a whole year of spending that much money on deputy ministers that do not have designated powers and responsibilities should be a problem.
Thank you, Chair, through you. It doesn't mean that because there were no signed off designated powers, we were not given responsibilities to do as the deputy ministers we did. And there are things that we're involved in, as I've outlined there as an example. Obviously, the 7th administration was going to have an increase within the ministry because we have 2 deputy ministers, not 1. And that in itself was going to lead to an increase. There's no way that you can add an extra person and there's no impact on the budget. It will definitely be there.
And that's exactly the point. We've been allocating budgets without the designated responsibilities. And we are not saying that you didn't perform duties. We are saying that the minister has failed himself to fulfill his duties on making sure that his deputy ministers have designated responsibilities, that they can come and answer for their designated responsibilities over here. Let's move on, please, DM. You've been a deputy minister for 6 consecutive years. So what's your understanding? And you were a bit wishy-washy on the constitutional roles between the minister and the national commissioner. You haven't come out very clearly on that. So maybe if you can just speak to that for about a minute, please, DM.
Can you repeat your question?
What's your understanding of the roles between the minister in terms of the constitution, between a minister of police, and a national commissioner?
The minister gives, thank you very much. The minister gives directives and develop policy, and the national commissioner implements. That's, yeah.
And then clearly you are saying that the minister did overstep in giving directives that the political task team must be disbanded.
No, I didn't say that.
Okay, tell me what you're saying, Minister. That's what I'm asking you.
I said he develops policies and gives directives in terms of the Constitution.
No, I'm saying throughout the day, throughout your testimony. So you haven't, that's why I'm asking, because it hasn't come out clearly. Do you think the minister overstepped in his when he sent that letter to disband the political killings task team?
Well, I can't say he overstepped, because the legality or to say the law does not allow that.
So he was within. Okay, I got you. You answered this question that you weren't part of the meeting between former Minister Cele and Minister Mchunu on the handover meeting. So you wouldn't be able to answer if the minister was briefed on the IMC. Let's move to. The minister spent a lot of time saying that he engaged both his deputy ministers, I think on the 21st of November 2025, where he discussed the disbandment of the PKTT. So what we're not getting here, DM, is that there seems to be like this beating around the bush on what was actually discussed. So we had the minister always going on about this work, this work study 2029, the complaints he was getting about the PKTT, but there was, and the new onogram. So these were some of the things that informed the decision. But it seems like there was never an open discussion, or maybe we're not being told, and we're asking you now, was there an open discussion? Given that we are moving and we're setting up this, murder and robbery unit, we are going to shut down the PKTT. Like, was there a discussion like that? Or we were just talking around the bush that, okay, if we're going to empower the murder and robbery unit, that means that this PKTT is going to go. So help us out, please,
Thank you, Chair, and thanks, Honourable Member. I think what we should do or understand is that the work study was not necessitated to address the PKTT task team. The work study produced the organizational structure. And the organizational structure was not an organizational structure for the PKTT. It was organizational structure for policing in the country to deal with everything that has to do with the work that police have to do. And we arrived at a structure of SAPs. This is how SAPs must look like in order to deal with the challenges of the day. And of course, within that, we must take into consideration crime intelligence. That structure as well was part of the structure that came, which was not there in... the process started in the 6th administration and got concluded in the 7th administration. It has got nothing to do with whether the PKTT must disband or not. It's a separate process. The dissolution is a different discussion altogether. And yes, we did discuss this, including the political killing task team.
So again, that's what we keep getting, is that this onogram, we're moving in this direction. We didn't discuss the PKTT in particular. But how is it that the ministry did not know that just disbanding the PKTT is a ticking time bomb, and they should not engage those who are involved to at least smooth the waters out? I mean, you, Minister, yourself, you are deputy minister, you're a seasoned politician. You know that when you're making decisions that are going to affect people, affect people's livelihoods, the first thing you do, even if you're going to stick to your decision, you call them and you have a meeting, right? So I'm again asking, in those discussions about the new onogram, am I saying the word correctly? Yeah, that word. Was there the discussion that because of this PKTT is not, it wasn't, right? Because we were just beating around the bush to say this is how we're moving, and anything else that's not there, we're not going to mention it. We're moving like this. But did you, the other deputy minister and the minister have a discussion, in particular on the 21st or 22nd of May, around that time, where there was an agreement that you're going to disband the PKTT because it doesn't fit into how we want to move as a ministry?
Yeah, I'll answer that by talking to the presentation through you, Chair, that we made to the committee, wherein we submitted that there will be a phased-in approach on the issue of the PKTT. And this presentation, when it was presented to the committee, the delegation was led by the minister and the national commissioner. And I said, that is the presentation that was made by SAPS to the committee on what is going to happen, and that's what is happening.
Okay, so before we get to that meeting, I'm saying, was there the discussion? So you're saying that the discussion you had with you and the two deputy ministers, the discussion in November was around a phased-out approach, and then that was presented in the portfolio committee later?
No, there was a discussion around the dissolution of the PKTT before the letter, and then the letter came, and there were interactions that led to the presentation that we made.
Okay.
And,
okay, I got you.
Yeah, and it is that presentation says this is the perspective of how this process should unfold. We are presenting to the committee. That's what I'm saying. When I say we, I mean led by the minister and the national commission.
So there was an agreement between the two deputy ministers and the minister that the PKTT must be disbanded. So you were just shocked when you saw the letter because you didn't, I'm asking, you didn't expect that it was going to be issued as a directive on New Year's Eve. Were you surprised that the letter was sent, or were you surprised about the content, about the disbandment?
It's the letter.
Okay.
Yeah, and what it was saying should happen and how.
Okay. And then let's go to the portfolio committee meeting. You attended, and then towards the end, we had the KZN commissioner mention Brown Mogotsi, implicated the minister for knowing him. Did you have a debriefing after that as deputy ministers and the minister about what happened in the portfolio committee meeting?
We were on virtual. We're not physically.
So you don't have. So you
I think I was in Cape Town myself. Yeah. Yeah.
So you didn't, because you. Earlier today, you said generally before you go into portfolio committee meetings, you have a caucus.
Yeah.
So only when it's physical sitting, not when it's virtual.
The issue of, the briefings, depending on where we are, all of us, if we are not in Pretoria or here in Cape Town, we'll do it virtual. Okay. And of course, the issue of Mogotsi we will not have had a briefing, because if we had had a briefing, it will not have reached the portfolio committee.
No, I'm saying after, so a debriefing. When it came up, it was like, that was a hot meeting.
Yes.
What was the KZN commissioner on about? There was no discussion. You just went your own separate ways, and life went on until we had the media briefing. Is that what happened?
No, not until we have the media briefing. The issue was raised, who is this Mogotsi? Yeah.
Yeah, now tell us about that. How
No,
was
I'm
it?
saying
We want to know. That's what we're here for.
No, after that.
So who did you have it with?
Hello, with the minister.
And?
No, I don't recall whether Natcom
you
was
do
there.
record.
But,
There's no way you don't record that.
no,
I'm sure you
no.
even went through it in your head a few times.
No, well, it might have been discussed more than once, but what I know is that the matter was raised with the minister, who is this Mogotsi. Yeah, and he assured us that there is nothing untoward about it. Yeah.
And then just two more things that I wanted to talk to you about. So you are, and we've highlighted, you are a seasoned government official, holding many ministerial positions over the years, a seasoned ANC politician. So were you shocked when you heard claims that, well, we don't know if it's true, it's still allegations apparently, that the minister is engaging a business person who has a tender, and I mean, it's one of the top 5 tenders in the SAPS, so whether you are involved in the process or not, it doesn't mean that you don't know about it, to finance their campaign. Was that something that shocked you?
Repeat your question, please.
Okay, so former Minister Cele says that when he engaged Kat Makala, he said that the minister had approached him to finance his presidency or his deputy presidency for the African National Congress.
Yeah.
Did that surprise you, that that's what happens? Where we approach, within the political space, we approach business people, corporates or whatever to finance political leadership contestation.
Yeah. Look, the ANC, well, like the other comments that you made, that I'm a veteran and experienced on government committee things. No, I'm not. I think I'm learning, and one day probably I will become experienced, and I will
Or
be
not knowing who is running your health department.
No, I'm
your
saying
health screening.
I'm saying the day I become what you say I am,
the minister.
is still coming.
Okay.
In the ANC, you have people the ANC have got an approach on what to do and what not to do and how to do what you want to do. And there are individuals in the organization who choose to position themselves and doing anything that they think can make them arrive where they want to arrive. When it emerges that so-and-so has done this and that, some of the things unthinkable, fortunately, I was fortunate enough to have worked with men and women who taught me the working of the organization and also prepared me not to be shocked when certain individuals do things that are an ANC. It doesn't matter who they are, even if the person is a president of the organization. If they act in a manner that is not in sync with the organization, I don't get shocked. I understand, it's possible that a person can betray the cause, because our cause, it's very complex, very difficult, very long. We are here today because of the challenges and the dynamics of the liberation struggle itself. You will have individuals from time to time who get compromised, or who are part of the machinery, but they are there to serve a cause that has got nothing to do with the liberation struggle. They are being handled by other people. And at the right time, they make them do things that reverses the gain that we might have made at any given stage. So when such things happen, you must know it's possible it can happen. Don't lose hope on the cause, because things like this will happen. And it has happened many a times where people close to you were working with, they betray you. It has happened to me. I was detained and I got expelled from college, and when I was challenging that expulsion, we were given affidavit, and as we were going through the affidavit, I found one of the people who was an activist from the college, who has explained everything under the sun that betrayed the cause.
Talking about his
but
college things.
we didn't get despondent. We understood that and said it can happen.
I get you, DM.
Yeah. All I'm saying is that when people do things they are not supposed to do, and it emerges that it has happened, they are not angels. They are human beings.
So that brings us back to the CR17 and seal bank statements.
Yeah.
Because we've used state institutions to also hide what's on there. And this seemed that what was going on, and if it is indeed true, that we have political parties accessing businesses, whether it's through those that are having big tenders, corporates, or whatever it is, to fund their positions in leadership positions in political parties, then they come and they use the state institutions to seal that, so we don't even see what's going on. Thank you, Deputy Minister. Oh, one more question, just one more, Chair. You said that one of the things you will do if you are appointed minister is start the lifestyle audits. Let's even leave lifestyle audits alone, DM. We have a problem with just vetting, a lousy 600 officials that require vetting in SAPS. How is it that our National Commissioner is failing to do that? He came here and he told us he's starting the whole vetting process, but since I've joined this committee and I've read reports from even our officials in SAPS are not being vetted. There's about 600 that require vetting. How can you run a country if you cannot ensure that crime intelligence can vet 600 people?
I think that's one of the things that needs to be done to ensure that
but
that happens.
But that's not answering the question. Why are we failing on something that basic? And you're saying that it's functioning, that SAPS is functioning, and there's just elements that is a problem. That's huge. It's not an element. It's in the highest structure, 600 officials right now. We don't know how many of them have security clearance and they're occupying positions.
That is a shortcoming that needs to be addressed, and it will be addressed.
You have been such a politician, DM. Shortcomings, it's a disaster. The ANC is failing South Africans. Thank you, Chair.